What's up, dudes? Welcome back to Triple KO. We have all journeyed forth across the world over the past week, especially these two. Joined by Matt McMuscles and Justin Wong. How's it going, guys?
It's pretty embarrassing we couldn't organize ourselves to record locally when we're all in Los Angeles, but there was a lot going on. I'm doing well.
Yeah, I was pretty busy.
Yeah, I mean, I've been home for the last 5 years, so it's been fun staying home for the last 5 years. But other than that, LA was fun. I mean, we went to Summer Game Fest, and that was really cool because they had some crazy news, especially on Friday, right? That was the Summer Game Fest digital stream, and then Curious Joy was just announcing anything fighting game related, and I'm just like, bro, what is going on? Like, I thought we were done with all the fighting game news, but they just keep on coming and coming.
I think if there's something that's definitely happening is from now to Evo, there's just going to be more fighting game news.
More.
And like, not everything was like showed up that I kind of thought showed up. I thought like, 2 cross XK whatever.
Oh.
I thought that would show up.
Project L?
Yeah, I thought that showed up with like a little new trailer, but I guess they're saving it for Evo, which makes sense as well.
So yeah, historically, Riot doesn't usually take place at like do anything with E3 or do much with like events. They do their own thing. And to be real, they have their own quote unquote event, and it's Evo. So if we're expecting anything from 2XKO in the near future, like we might get a release date or something like that, possibly at Evo.
Yeah, okay.
They recently this, like, when I was following like European FGC Twitter, they flew out a lot of European fighting game folks and content creators to Riot EU, and yeah, they were able to play 2XKO there. So yeah, like Max said, they just do their own thing because they're Riot, and we just we just got Alawi at Evo Japan as well too. So that was really cool. So yeah, I mean, I'm pretty sure we can expect something from Evo just because like the cannons are part of Evo.
Yeah,
and,
very true. Okay.
And 2XKO is a PlayStation game also now as well. So it's for the first time this stuff is going to be on console instead of just PC. So that's just happening. Valorant got announced for console too.
Yeah, that was a thing that happened. Because aside from the fighting game stuff, like everything that was going on, like outside, like, 1 or 2 tiny things, I was kind of like, yeah, this not a lot of announcements for me specifically. What was for me specifically was Justin taking me to Barcode, which I had a great time at. Super cool to see Alex Valle just slinging drinks, making some good ones.
He is co-owner, I think, or something like that.
Co-owner too? I didn't know that.
I think he's like working with, it's like his establishment or something like that.
Yeah, I just know he does. I don't know like what's details on that. I just know he's like one of the main bartenders. He just serves up drinks, serves up Hadoukens and Shoryukens, and he runs he started Thirsty Thursdays, pretty much a local for people to come play locals at every Thursday. Right? Obviously, you have to be like 21 plus because it's obviously a bar. But overall, I mean, it's always the spot that I like to go to when I'm in LA, when I'm in town.
Yeah, no, it was super hype. Max, the Hadouken drink, I'll break that down for you because I remember. And I only bring this up because it was quite tasty. Because I remember going to like, what was it, the Red Bull Evo thing from like 2019? They had the same thing
like 5-6 years ago.
It was bad though, that drink, the Red Bull one.
Yeah.
This was rum, strawberry liqueur, and ginger beer, and just the rum and strawberry liqueur. Okay, that's whatever. The ginger beer, that's where I tasted that, and I complimented Rich. I was like, that's really tasty towards the end. What is that? And he says ginger beer. I'm like, like that was actually, for gimmick drinks. And, whenever you go to like a function or whatever, they'll have something named after whatever, Honda's headbutt or, whatever it's called. This was actually legit good. I was like, oh, I should make that one time. But yeah, it was a super cool spot. And it got so busy. I was so shocked. I was like, damn, this place must be hopping like every weekend.
They have their own community. Like Kenny's had some parties there and stuff like that. I've still never been. I'm a bitch. Just because one of the biggest allures of the place is drinking, and I just don't really drink much anymore.
Listen, Max. If you went Rich, he was a huge fan. Like, he's a huge fan of Matt, and the first thing he did when he saw Matt was like shots, and then so that's will probably happen if you win.
But you just be persistent and you just say, "No, thanks, I'm good. I had 2 shots and like 1 cocktail, and I was like, I'm good, bro." But the food was good, and the Japanese cabinets were pretty on point as well.
Yeah, so they keep.
You can not drink. You could like take 1 drink and as long as you just are persistent with Rich and just say, "I'm good, bro," like you'll still have a good time.
Yeah, I'm a piece of shit bitch. Ever since I had Ripley, I just didn't really drink much anymore because JJ stopped, so I didn't want to, entice her in any way at all. And then we both just kind of stopped. And now it just makes me feel bad. So my body is all messed up from it now. The cabinets that they have, are they all like relatively well maintained and stuff like that?
Yeah, they are. Rich went into like a crazy like buying phase of just like, I just want to buy cabinets and just like put it at barcode. Because before he had the cabinets, he only had like kind of console setups everywhere. But now he just has like a full dedicated like Japanese cabinets. I think he has like 8 of them. And they obviously have like Third Strike. They have Marvel 2, ST, Puzzle Bobble. He has a CVS 2 as well. So he's an avid collector of the retro space.
That's awesome.
Die Hard Arcade on an Astra Mini too, which I was happy to see.
Not in the crazy American stand-up?
Yeah.
That's great. I haven't seen that before.
Sorry, not Die Hard Arcade. Therefore, no, it would be Dynamite Deca 1.
Technically, it would be Dynamite Deca if it's in a sit-down. It would have none of the Bruce Willis iconography in it.
I think it's still the same character model. It's just simply the title just changes, I think, which is crazy. If we could turn this into the Dynamite Deca podcast, I would. I could talk about all of that.
Have you experienced Dynamite Deca 2? Do you know about that game?
Yes. Have you experienced Dynamite Deca Asian Dynamite, it's called? This was late. This was like 2002.
What the hell?
It's arcade only, and it takes place on a cruise ship. And it's even crazier than like Dynamite Deca 2 on Dreamcast.
That's crazy.
People do magical girl transformations into different outfits, and then they get a different moveset.
I have never seen this before. Wait, The weirdest one I saw was Dynamite Deca remake on PS2. We fired that up not that long ago.
Yeah. That's actually, that looks like an amazing PS2 game. But like Asian Dynamite was like only arcades, never got ported anywhere type thing. I only learned about it like 2 years ago myself. So
speaking of ports and arcades and characters and Bison's goddamn horse. Since then, there's a lot has happened. Me and Justin and Matt, we've all played Bison at this point, but trying to get your impressions and everybody what you think about the trailer for Bison and his horse and everything related.
I thought the trailer was really good. Like, he came out swinging like he's like a 4 horsemen type of guy. The horse is actually amazing just because it's such a sick reference to obviously Raul Julia from Street Fighter movie, and in general like his gimmick of like before I got to play him was like, damn, he's fast. Drive Rush is fast. The Cycle Mines is really cool. Like, and he has a lot of references from like all the Street Fighter games that he's in, right? Street Fighter 4, Street Fighter 2, Street Fighter 5. I think the only thing that he doesn't have was probably like Street Fighter Alpha, where he doesn't have a fireball.
Yeah, true.
That's like the only thing that he doesn't have. But everything else, he's like, this is like a complete full Bison.
Teleport.
I forgot about the teleport. Yeah, right. Yeah.
I'm glad that the bit of Street Fighter 4, the Psycho Punisher, because when I first heard the Psycho Punisher, I'm like, that's the coolest fucking name ever.
Yeah, he's definitely closest to Street Fighter 4 Bison, just in general. I didn't play a lot of 5 Bison, but like the biggest gimmick they took from 5 Bison was like explodey things, which was sort of one of his big gimmicks in that game, I believe. But yeah, in terms of him being like big lumbering guy, he definitely feels a little bit more of like the nimble Bison from before.
Definitely.
But man, some of those buttons are mega heavy. Like his stand HP, it's like it like takes forever. I'm like, God damn. All right, buddy, you're really slapping this dude.
You mentioned it earlier, but for those that don't know, the Psycho Mine is like, it just big cinder vibes of putting a mine on you and then it exploding after a couple of seconds. And I was like, that's... But Cinder was like more clunky almost. Like Cinder was like you had to detonate them, right?
Cinder
manually.
Cinder had to manually detonate them, but his gimmick was that he can do it anywhere at any time in between throws, like anything. And the Psycho Mine is similar in design, but you have to activate it. It either has to be activated or over time it eventually explodes.
Yeah.
And it's Devil's Reverse, I think, activated it. Doing the mine again, doing Psycho Crusher, all of them like blew it up. It seemed pretty to me, he seemed pretty straightforward. Dude, to me, this is the easiest Bison ever. You know why? Scissor Kick is Fireball forward, dude.
That's true.
You don't have to think about charting.
That's true. The Scissor Kick, but then I would say the one thing about Bison in this game is that he reminds me of like kind of Kimberly.
Yes.
You have to really follow the different type of scripts. Once you figure out, okay, you press this button and then you need to lead to this one, lead to this sequence. That's kind of what Bison becomes. I feel like his playstyle in just Street Fighter history, it's always been confusing, like different. Just because, like, what are you supposed to do with him? Psycho Crusher the whole entire time, right? But like when you think about like other characters like Ryu and Guile and Chun-Li, you already have that standard game plan that you know what's going to work. But Bison, every game, it just completely changes. So I feel like this one is kind of like a fusion of 4 and 5. And I think that's really cool.
He's definitely more 4 and 5. I was hoping for Paint the Fence or
4 and
Paint
5.
the Fence or something like that, like sort of a unique.
Oh, CVS 2?
Sort of like a unique juggle special, and he doesn't really. He gets that. He gets like his new target combo, you know.
So we're going to take a quick break to talk about this episode's sponsor, HelloFresh, where you get farm fresh, pre-portioned ingredients and seasonal recipes delivered right to your doorstep. Skip trips to the grocery store and count on HelloFresh to make some home cooking easy, fun, and affordable. And that's why it's America's #1 meal kit, which is amazing. That's an amazing factoid. And for like the summer, you want to savor the taste of summer with fresh seasonal produce picked at peak ripeness and delivered straight from the farm to your door in less than a week. And HelloFresh's line of kid-friendly recipes are picky eater proof and perfect for families looking to shake up their dinner recipe rotation while school's out for the summer. Justin Wong, do you happen to have any picky eaters in the house?
Yes, I do. I have a picky eater. Yes, my daughter is 5 years old and she is all about Italian food, pasta. She is not a fan of just like random stuff that, sometimes we cook at home. But HelloFresh definitely have Italian options like spaghetti and meatballs. And even, when we bust out the Indian food, the chili as well too, she actually liked the chili a little bit. So I thought that was really cool. And I'm kind of curious as well because summer is coming up and, maybe we want to go to a beach, have a beach barbecue. I know they got some like Old Bay shrimp and some sausage, grilled steak lettuce wrap on the menu for HelloFresh. So I might be looking into that in the future, I would say.
Picky eaters. I was a picky eater as a kid, so I can relate to her.
Yes.
So if you are interested, go to hellofresh.com/TKO apps for free appetizers for life. Free appetizers for life.
Wow. Oh my God.
It's only one appetizer item per box, though, while subscriptions are active. That's free appetizers for life, for life at hellofresh.com/TKO apps. So thanks again to HelloFresh for sponsoring today's episode. And it is, again, America's #1 meal kit.
That's kind of what made me sad about playing Bison because I'm like, okay, OD Scissor Kick, that's like your combo extender, right? But you can't do jump, medium punch, jump, medium punch after that. That makes me so sad.
Yeah,
you understand?
Me and another dude that was there that was like a big Bison fan, we hunted down a way just to combo normally and to jump MP, and we could not find it. You have to it has to be mine explosion or something like that. So
you gotta be lucky.
The thing
with
that we went back in the trailer and reviewed is that he definitely has some crazy juggle shit off of if you activate the explosion with an EX move, like EX Psycho Crusher, and it hits, does some nutty explosion. EX Fireball back punches, I think, also does some nutty explosion. But that's all like super meter heavy. And that's the thing that I kind of got out of it is that he feels a little meter hungry. And to be real, I think after looking at his visuals, I was expecting like a different character. Like, whoa, we're going to get a crazy different Bison. He felt pretty traditional to me. Like his typical what makes Bison Bison is still sort of there, where it's like, he's gonna do this from here, he's gonna do that from there. Things mostly are working the way you expect.
I think costume wise, it's like, yeah, let's make a different character. That's easy. But like, I think for a legacy character, they're not gonna ever mess them up too much.
No.
Did you guys see the Critical Art version of the level 3? Because I was like, let me see what. Yeah, it's basically like, you know, he psycho crushes you into the ground, and then like that's where it ends. But then in the Critical Art version, he like jumps backwards and like throws something, and then there's like a nuke explosion on you. And I was like, that's pretty sick. But
that was cool.
When you look at him though, I don't know if you guys have played it, but I'm like a big fan of the series. But he looks a lot like a War from the Darksiders series.
People are saying
literally
that.
Just has a hood and white hair, like stringy white hair coming down, and like white eyes. Even his voice is kind of similar, so I kept thinking that. And when you look at his like nostalgia costume, like it's really good. Like
it's so sick, bro.
He looks so much better than Street Fighter V.
It's the best looking Bison ever, in my opinion. Like the best Bison, period. In my opinion, CVS2 Sprite, like straight up. It's like iconic Bison. They took away like fat, like mega thick Bison.
Fat Bison.
Like, and I really dig CVS2 Bison. He's also a goddamn nightmare in that game because of like how good Scissor Kicks is and stuff. And that's what I kind of felt in this one, where it's like, man, just getting access to. I think medium Scissor Kick was safe, and I swear to God, like the heavy one was really good. Like, I don't know if it was plus, but it was quite good. The light one could be punished. It was like a stand jab punish. But, dude, just being able to throw out Scissor Kicks and even have like a medium or heavy one available at any time seemed like so much easier. And in my head, in previous Bison iterations, you're always like preparing Scissor Kick. You know, just to catch people off guard at like any point, because most of the time they're really good in a lot of games like 4 and even CVS2. And now it's like, oh, you just get to do it like whenever. I'm like, so much less brain power.
That's a good point.
I don't have to think. And when you're playing a charge character in general, which is why I think Guile is listed as a hard character and Bison is listed as hard characters, you have to dedicate brain power to doing charge stuff. And now Bison only is Psycho Crusher, and you almost never want to do that alone. You almost never want to. It's so unsafe. It's unless you like catch a fireball or something or ending a combo with it. This is like the first time in the series you can combo Psycho Crusher into super. It's really cool. You can do like EX Psycho Crusher into super. You can do regular Psycho Crusher into level 3. I'm like, whoa, that's neat. So I didn't get a chance to do that, but I hope that leads to some really cool shit.
Yeah, that you can go into level 3 pretty much. That's kind of like how Blanca could do Blanca Ball into Super Honda Headbutt into level 3. It's pretty much like that. And for Psycho Crusher, like you kind of just throw it out if you have Psycho Mind on the opponent, because then you make it super safe and everything. But I like the fact that you mentioned the Scissor Kick. It's like it kind of helps a lot of people, because comboing with charge characters has always been hard for like new players and casuals, right? Do you like the fact that it's like we're probably never going to have traditional charge characters anymore, at least in the Capcom universe?
I think they're, you know, Guile is like the de facto, and he still is. Like everything that Guile has still remains relatively like normal and natural. Obviously, you can't have Boom and you can't have Flash Kick not be charge. Bison losing Scissor Kick especially is really interesting to me, because you could have easily had done let's make head stomp, Devil's Reverse, that shit. Let's make that like a reverse DP motion or something like that. You easily could have done that, but you didn't. They made that into traditional charging. So to me, it's like, it's interesting, because if there was one move you could have made the easiest on Bison that makes him much more approachable, it is Scissor Kick, and they made Scissor Kick just kind of good now. So I mean, who else in the Capcom verse? I didn't play Blanca, but Honda. Like, Honda sort of suffers from a similar thing. Doesn't Honda's headbutt allow him to go through fireballs at some point? Like an EX headbutt or something like that?
OD headbutt has armor. It's not like projectile invincible.
Yeah, but like old like Honda. Didn't old Honda be able to go through fireballs?
No,
really?
that's always been a weakness.
No, never.
So that's where I'm like...
That was... That was HDR. HDR, he had jab headbutt that nullifies fireballs.
That's what
there was some goofy thing in that, and I tried doing that with Bison a couple of times. I probably should have tested it more, because people said no, his regular Psycho Crusher, which requires a charge, right? Which makes sense. You don't want to turn this into a motion input that will go through single hit fireballs. And I think we tried it a couple of times, and every time I attempted it, I got knocked out of it. So it's like the middle of the move or something.
So So they made that change for season 2 where any character that has a projectile invincible move, it comes out
It's
way
really
later.
late. Like you can't you can almost like, unless you're full screen, you can almost like not react to it. So it's like
they nerfed it.
Yeah.
They nerfed projectile invincible moves like Cammy Spin Knuckle. It's like it's so hard to use now against.
Yeah.
That was the
projectile,
point of that
kind of
move.
similar to Bison.
Yeah, that was the point.
I know it was the
Now
point.
you have to
What the
effectively like,
fuck?
get a read instead of a reaction is what it seemed like.
It's a read.
And that's when I was playing as Bison against people and I got hit out of like 3 fireballs. I was like, well, I'm not doing that shit anymore. And then I just did EX and it just would plow through. But, you know, you have to use meter for that.
Yeah, I have lots of dumb ideas. I'll share one with you right now. Should Bison be able to call in the horse where the legs come out the side of the screen? Like does a horse kick?
You nailed it.
Yeah.
To me, Bison, he was like, he had like 4 moves. I think it was like head stomp, scissor kick, psycho crusher, fireball, back punch thing, which is like Street Fighter 5 stuff.
Yeah.
And I was kind of hoping he would have more tools. I was kind of hoping they would go a little more ham with him, but he felt relatively traditional.
It's like what's her face in Tekken 7? I always forget her name. The Hiachi's wife with the tiger.
Oh, Jesus.
Oh. Yeah.
You asked me to remember a name on the spot, and now
I know you're talking about.
I know exactly what you're talking about. And
she was top tier, but I don't remember the name.
She was awesome, but I forget her name fucking now. And she was awesome, and she called in the tiger like constantly. Yeah. Max gonna look up.
No,
Kazura.
cool.
Kazumi.
Kazumi.
And also, hold on a second. What's the? I'm gonna look up Wolf Girl Strive. What the heck was her name?
Giovanna.
Wolf Girls. Oh, Giovanna.
I felt like the same thing where it's like, man, I wish she brought out the wolf every once in a while and actually did cool shit with the wolf instead of it just being extensions of normals for the most part.
Yeah.
I was kind of hoping Bison was going to be like that. I was like, dude,
like a Galfer.
Yeah. That's what I wanted from Giovanna, and then she was like really straightforward. So I think for Bison, it was my expectations. I think I was wanting personally Bison to be something like wildly different or some shit like that. And he's pretty much Bison with like a gimmick that you really got to figure out. Like his Psycho Mind thing, it seems like it has obvious usability where it's like, oh, I see why this is good, but getting there seems like it might take a little bit of time because even with a couple of hours and people that even had Bison experience when we were playing, we were like hunting down ways to like make this really good and get safe jumps and all that stuff, yada, yada. And it was like, this will take some time to figure out.
Let the Kimberly players figure it out because that's like
exactly like all that timing of explosions and all that kind of stuff. Very similar.
There is a subset of players that like figuring that out. With all of this said, even though I like playing as him, and I think all 3 of us were like, yeah, no, he's fun. I don't want Bison in the game. I actually didn't want him at all. And that's not a slight against Bison players. It's because he was dead. And in interviews over the weekend, they're like, you didn't see his body. Shut up.
Yeah.
Shut up. Dude, he disintegrated.
You will never have a Street Fighter game without Bison like
we did.
Again.
It was Street Fighter 3.
Ever again.
It was Street Fighter 3.
Oh, all right.
And Street Fighter 3 suffered hard because of it in those first years.
If Bison wasn't in 5, then I'd be fine with it.
Sure.
That's the only real reason, because I just want us to move on to a different villain. It's like, and it's really hard too. Like Mortal Kombat, I think Mortal Kombat struggled with villains ever since. Shinnok's not as cool as Shao Kahn. Kronika's super not as cool as Shao Kahn. Blah, 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 blah. So it's really, really tough. And I don't think many games have cracked that yet.
Not even lately. Like villains of the past like 5-ish, 6-ish, 7-ish years for most fighting games, the main antagonist is not super great in most fighting games nowadays.
I guess Tekken does an okay job, or they'll have the monster of the week, but it's always Kazi or Heihachi.
Yeah. It still boils down.
It's a Mishima.
Yeah, it's going to boil down to a fist fight between father and son, or something like that. And it's a legacy thing going back to Tekken 1. So they're just keeping up the status quo. But I feel that, Bison's such a legacy character and is arguably the best fighting game bad guy like ever, that, man, he's never going to be able to go away again.
If I could replace Bison with something similar, and it would be Nikali is back, but now he's like super beast, and he like gets positioned as like a huge intimidating force and not like what he was in 5, but there's no chance of
I'm not about that because he just left a bad impression.
His design,
of course.
his design is just like confusing. Like there's already questions when you look at him.
It's very Pillar Man, but like
they should have let him rock with the hair at start. Like, you know what I mean?
Yeah,
absolutely.
I just think he was like he got done dirty, and I'd want like a redemption arc for him. But I mean, Bison is obviously a safe choice. Just like story wise, I'm not into it.
Nick Cali would be one of those characters that I would be very surprised to see return. If there was like in the same way that like Rufus Street Fighter 6, maybe Rufus Street Fighter 4. Sorry, Justin. Maybe or Abel. Let's put Abel, not to make Justin feel bad.
No, Ed. I never thought Ed would be back.
I didn't think Ed would be back, to be real.
Really?
No.
I thought Ed was gonna come back just because he had such a big story, I guess, with Bison and the whole clone stuff. So it's like hard to erase those type of characters.
If anything, Street Fighter 6 Season 1 was us. We could fix our Street Fighter 5 characters and make them better, if not make you like them now.
Okay.
Yeah, that's true.
I have it. What's the worst Street Fighter 6 season you can think of? Like that no one would ask
this
for.
Is great. All right. I got number 1, and I apologize. I played this character. I did run stop cancels, and they were fun. El Fuerte. El Fuerte would be a bane on the game.
I disagree.
Okay.
I would like El Fuerte. I wouldn't want Hakan.
Really?
I
think
disagree with that too.
I think Hakan would be cool. We got one we all agree on. You ready?
What?
Ingrid.
No, because I don't think she even would be. No, I mean, like, I don't even think that's in contention.
But she's a Street Fighter character.
Falk. Whatever.
Falk.
And, like,
Falk,
Colin, whatever her name was.
Colleen?
Absolutely not. Both of them.
Her music was kind of good, though.
Doesn't matter. No one would.
What about Abigail? Would you accept Abigail?
Would be in the comments saying, yeah? Come on, Rufus.
Yeah, I'm about Rufus.
No, like he's.
What about Abigail?
That's bad.
No, it's not bad. Why? That's Ken's rival. Let Ken's rival rock.
Ken's rival is Ryu. That is not. No, they just stuck Rufus in there because they're both Americans and one eats a lot.
Let's narrow it down like this. It's more like, here's a DLC season no one will buy. Like, because these characters do not have like a universal appeal, right? Like there's not like a huge contingent of people who are like, oh yeah, Colin. Like Ingrid is a good choice, Max, but it's like I don't think Capcom would even consider her.
Okay, good. I'm glad we're on the same page.
Okay. I don't know, like a Street Fighter 1 character like Joe. Would you be interested if a Street Fighter 1 character
There's a lot
came
of
back?
weird SF1 stuff that you absolutely pass, right? For sure.
No, but they already did them. Adon and Birdie were the weirdest ones. Maybe Geki is interesting or could be interesting.
But Geki was replaced by Vega.
Yeah.
That already happened.
But Joe Lee and like Eagle, maybe Eagle could be okay.
Eagle's cool.
Wait a minute. Balrog was also not the Mike Tyson guy. Was not in Street Fighter 1. It was just Mike.
It was just Mike.
That's right.
Yeah.
Joe was just like a white dude boxer or some shit like that. I can't even remember.
12.
He's
12. If Street Fighter 6 said here's 12, I'd be like, no, absolutely not.
No, I mean you changed his name to 13.
Yes.
Now still no.
Yes. I think they did a good job with 12 and 5. I think that was a really good call.
11.
Sorry, you got me.
11.
No,
this conversation is over.
That's fine.
I think final impressions is that Bison definitely has some stuff to work with. He's got a different game plan sort of than before, and for me, he remains sort of like traditional. But in my personal opinion, for any of the previous Bisons I've ever played, I'm always thinking about charging, scissor kick. And now he can just do it, dude. So it's like, whoa, holy crap! I have so much less brain power I have to dedicate to this.
Yeah, I think that's pretty cool, and I'm excited to see what people are going to figure out about Bison. And I totally forgot when we were mentioning which characters people don't want back. I think it was like 50-50 with Elena, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, Street Fighter 4 really burned people on Elena.
Yeah,
so she
right?
effectively
But-
ruined that game on its exit.
But fortunately, they said, do not worry about healing.
Yeah, that
for
shit ain't
her
coming back,
inclusion
dude.
now. No.
No, I think it's coming back. I think it's there.
It's coming back. I think she's getting Brave Dance or Spring Bean or whatever the hell or something like that.
Spinning bean, break dance.
Yeah.
But then you need what's the third super?
Something crazy.
A new one.
I don't know. It's gonna be something crazy.
Hey, look, level
A
2.
rampage
level
of like
2,
African animals, like rhinos
What?
and like elephants stomp you. Yeah.
Level 2 is gonna be the healing install for sure. It has to be.
Listen, I think Justin's right. I think healing is too integral and unique to her character that they're just going to make sure it's balanced, but I still think it'll be in the game.
Sure.
Like it could be like healing, but then during that time frame where like she has a bit of bar where it does double damage or something. Like
will. I'm going to call you guys here. But I'm going to call in a different way. I don't think it's going to heal your life bar. I think her healing
heal the
is going to
drive
recover. Her healing mechanic is going to recover drive gauge.
Okay. I'm 50-50 on that, but it's certainly possible.
I mean, Jamie has that when you have 4
does.
drinks.
That's
He does
already
his
in the
level 2, and then it's already in the game. So it could be, that you just have cooler combos. That means Elena might be a very cool combo
It would be
character.
great if she could like do it and then cancel into healing, and then all of a sudden she gets more drive shit, and now she gets different combos that hopefully will be worth 2 bars.
What if she gets both, and it's only like half of you only get like a quarter of both.
Interesting.
I would be very surprised if they did any actual life bar healing. Is all I'll say. Considering they're pretty in tune with what the community feels about certain stuff, and obviously Elena is a character with like pretty unique gameplay and a cool visual style. She's going to be this like mega tall buff chick, right, or like skinny / buff chick, which is going to be sick to see that like rendered in Street Fighter 6 style. But at the same time, it's like, I think they're aware of what things pissed people off from previous games.
I understand it because I think healing was really cheap in Street Fighter 4, but it was really broken because of the use of focus attack. There's no focus attack in Street Fighter 6, so you can probably only get 2 level 2s per game compared to like 4 in Street Fighter 4. So I think healing won't be as bad if they did leave
they
it.
know for sure, but like I think it's too integral to the character that they wouldn't have it in some fashion. I'm just glad she's in it. Like I know there's some people that are like, oh no, I don't really like, but I'm like, I love Elena, like in all her guises, and I'm just excited. Fresh new look, and then of course a nostalgia costume. Like I'm all about her. So.
Yeah.
So that's it for Street Fighter 6. There's
nothing else happened. Don't worry. Definitely nothing else happened except, just some the Capcom versus SNK crossover, first time in 20 years. Anyway, let's move on. How do we all feel about Terry and Mai?
I hope they just don't make them Street Fighter 6 like, just drive rush and whatever. I want them to have their own mechanics, kind of how Tekken did it with Akuma, I think, and Geese. I think they did such a great job with that. So if Street Fighter can give 2 SNK characters their own version of like how to play the game where it keeps their identity, that would be really cool.
Bandai Namco, did there was Soul Calibur as well, where it's like Haomaru and stuff like that. Did have like crazy like Sam Show-ish stuff, and the same thing with Bison and Sam Show. So I think that's the idea of a guest character, is that they sort of have to recoup elements from the things that they come from. Go ahead, Matt. What were you going to say?
I was going to say it reminds me a bit of like Terry and Smash, how Sakurai made sure that there's little SNK bits, like the Go meter and stuff like that. I agree. Do I think this will happen? It's like a 50-50 thing. Like, because since this is what's it called? What's the word? Unprecedented? That Capcom is actually taking like a third party character. Like everything else has always been Capcom.
And to be completely honest, we already have a perspective of this, even though it's not as vast. Street Fighter V Final Season introduced Akira, so she was technically a crossover character, right, from a different game. Akira just straight takes mechanics from Project Justice, like the wild ass massive Project Justice launchers and shit. No, she just gets that, and it's like, what the fuck? Like, you're allowing this?
That was cool.
So, and it's one of the coolest parts of the character is her crazy launcher combos where you like do like staircase all the way down and stuff like that. I'm like, this is awesome. So they were already willing to do that with like, we're going to disrupt the combo system. We're going to throw in an extra character or brother. Like, they were already willing to do crazy shit. So I think this is like, the nice part about Terry and Mai is that they are a bit deeper into the seasons now, where they've already had some time to like figure out how characters want to be and how loose they want to get with their gameplay mechanics and systems. And, you know, I'm just hoping that that freedom gives them the ability to go sort of nuts with Terry and Mai.
So their gameplay trailers, right? Ryu throws a fireball at Terry, and Terry goes, "What?" Dodges into the background.
Yeah. So a funny observation of that, because we have to start asking ourselves this, and I had an interview with the devs, right, with Matsumoto-san and Nakayama-san, and I started talking about this, and I didn't want to ask questions that everyone else is going to ask, and just, you know, because I know Justin was already going to do this. I talked to him about it.
Yeah, but Justin already did that, where he's like, "Hey, how about that hop on Street Fighter 6 sticker?"
Yeah, exactly. Like, so I was like, so I noticed something, and I thought it was kind of funny that Terry and Mai in their first depiction is not Fatal Fury. Mai's not even in Fatal Fury. So, and Terry isn't wearing his Fatal Fury costume. So this is not a Fatal Fury crossover, which is obviously the latest game.
Garo, you mean?
Well, the new game's called, like, the new game's called Fatal Fury.
But you mean like he's not wearing like his what he's wearing in City of the Wolves?
Yeah, which is exactly what you would do if this is a crossover with a series. Like, for example, when Bison was introduced into Sam Show, she was XR Rev 2 Bison at the time, and Bison I don't think was even out in Strive yet. So that's important. Is like, okay, so what are we cross-referencing here? So I asked them that. I was like, it almost appears like Terry and Mai are from classic CVS, if not their KOF iterations. Like, these designs are from there, and they're like, we can't talk about that right now. But they're like, your observation is absolutely correct, but we have no information, and we'll reveal that at a later date. And then right in the same fucking hour later on, I think Rufelmonger did an interview with the SNK guys, and they're like, we got more characters coming for KOF 15, and I was like,
So Justin and I were talking about that over the weekend. I was like, how the hell did they just drop that info in a random interview?
Yeah.
And I think it's because
they didn't care.
Yeah, they didn't care. So
it was officially announced 2 days later.
Forgetting that. Yeah. But I was like, that's just crazy. Like, I hope they backed that up and he had that recorded. Because if he just comes, he's like, oh yeah, they said there's more characters. People are gonna be like, what the hell?
This very much, because it's been like a while. I asked the chat, it's like it's been like 6 or 7 months, right? This is like the longest period of time that KOF 15 has gone without like a substantial update.
Yeah.
So it's seeming like it's being sunsetted and it's done. This reminds me a lot, and not the same time frame, but reminds me of Street Fighter 5, where clearly the game was fucking done in season 4, and then shit hit the fan, and they came back and did another season. You know, it kind of reminds me of that, where it's like, oh, they might have this might have been a late deal that they figured out or something, because, bro, everybody and their mother is like, okay, so that's Luke, that's Ryu, that's Chun-Li. Everybody's saying it now that clearly these are KOF characters, not Fatal Fury City of the Wolves characters in Street Fighter 6.
Yeah.
The other interesting thing I saw people on Twitter mention is that Mai has a very, very specific design in the full body artwork. It's Mai from Real Bout.
Yeah,
specifically.
Weird.
Yeah, I was like, that's crazy, because I know a lot of Japanese developers are like, if you're going to talk about Fatal Fury, they're like Real Bout 1 or Real Bout 2, the newcomers, is like the ones. If you're talking about classic Fatal Fury, like, where did it peak? It was like around there.
Exactly. So that's a bizarre thing that, like, yeah, Terry doesn't look like KOF 14 Terry. Terry looks about the same as he does in KOF 15. So his design has changed a lot. And before those games, what did he look like? Well, like a mix of 13, and then obviously Bomber Jacket, Fatal Fury Terry, which is what he is now. We haven't seen any other versions, so I'm like, these things are done very intentionally. So all I'm saying is that, like, the writing is on the wall of like, oh yeah, this is most likely going to be a Capcom crossover. And I was sort of hoping that, dude, I wanted Ken in City of the Wolves. Like, I was like, shit, this is going to be amazing if Ken or something makes it in City of the Wolves. Now it seems like KOF 15 is likely going to get the crossover.
So yeah, you guys really think that like it's the special characters in 15 will be like at least one Street Fighter?
I would bet on it. If I could bet gift subs,
I think so
yeah.
too.
Yeah.
I feel like a Team Street Fighter has to be the next like team that they're going to announce for King of Fighters 15. I do think so.
Ryu, Ken, Chun-Li.
Like that's the safe choice. No, I think the safe choice is Ryu, Luke, Chun-Li.
Ryu, Luke, Chun-Li is the ultimate safe choice.
Ryu, Luke, Chun-Li.
And I don't know.
Those three are the mascots in every game now.
That would be cool. Granted, it is cool, but is it like, yeah, I mean, Ryu, Luke, Chun? I don't know. I think there'd be some other characters that might be better.
I'd
like
want a
Violent
villain in there.
I feel like
give me Violent Ken on King of Fighters.
Marissa's already an SNK character. Personally,
no, don't do it.
I don't know. I'm just saying that there's several options. You know, JP already feels like he's from NRS games and things that don't even belong. And I just hope it doesn't go as like straight like white bed generic as Ryu, Luke, Chun. That would be really.
I'd like Ryu Sagat, like Hugo or something fucked up.
All right. I think guaranteed though, like Chun-Li has to be in there, Luke has to be in there. Ryu could probably be replaced, but Luke and Chun-Li, I feel like guarantee those two.
I think
they're in a lot of mobile stuff, aren't they? They're like in the KOF mobile game, aren't they?
To me, I think there's like a missed opportunity there with Ryu because we're losing the iconography of old CVS2 of Ryu and Kyo like facing off and all that shit, which was like the entire visual aesthetic of like KOF is crossing over with or SNK.
You can't replace that with Kyo and Ken. That doesn't
make any sense.
Mesh. Yeah.
That doesn't make any sense.
But you got Chun-Li and Ma. You could do Chun-Li and Ma.
And they did that. That was what they did for CVS2, CVS1. That's what I'm saying. That's great. That's like the primo female SNK character, the primo Capcom female character. Like, yeah, that's awesome.
Yeah, but that's
who's the Luke of King of Fighters, like the new King of Fighters.
Who the fuck is that?
Who's the
that
Luke?
Edgy dude with the jacket on his shoulders?
Shune.
It's 100% Luke.
Shune and Luke. There you go.
Luke is so much cooler.
He ain't wrong, dude. He's not
or
wrong.
The Pillow Kid, Sleepy Child.
No. It's Shune for
not
sure.
have any other equal. He is unique in his own universe.
No urgency. What's his name? Shune? Whatever. People know what we're talking about.
It's Shune.
No, you don't need Chun-Li. You already have Chun-Li and Mai squaring off in Street Fighter 6. So it's like, that's not, you already kind of have that handled.
Yeah.
So for KOF 15, I don't even know, because I don't even know if they're doing a full team. Like, I get the impression this is going to be like 3 characters that are just added to be special and they don't fit on any one team.
I have a question.
You know what I mean?
Yeah, exactly. To me, maybe this partnership doesn't just stop at, you know, potentially Street Fighter 6 or KOF 15 if it does. Potentially it moves in even to Fatal Fury. So I already mentioned that Ken feels very Fatal Fury-ish. Just already in terms of like as a character, it feels like he sort of belongs in Fatal Fury.
Yeah.
So like who else would fit into that game with like Final Fight-ish characters with Guy and Cody? Do they feel like they fit in Southtown? Does that make any sense?
Hagar in Fatal Fury.
I like it.
Kimberly
likely. That's not a terrible one for, especially for a brand new character. I would much prefer Kimberly over like, you know, Manon or JP in Fatal Fury. I agree.
Yeah.
So I think there's space there. There's space for really cool shit to happen, you know, across the pond. Oh goddamn!
In Fatal Fury.
Sean.
If Sean happened in Fatal Fury before he happened in Street Fighter, there'd be riots.
That'd be fucked up. Yeah.
You understand? They replaced the basketball guy in the Street Fighter 6 World Tour with a random guy. He's not even Sean.
Yeah, that's true.
Instead, they had a Sean-like in all the trailers. A dude that like is the generic Street Fighter World Tour dude. Looks almost like this is just Sean. Like it's the same hairstyle and everything. So that happened anyway. Before we run out of time.
I couldn't believe that happened.
And I had to make a video because it felt like people were sort of taking this for granted. And I'm like, you guys don't realize how insane this is. And I had to make a video explaining the history of the companies because a lot of people just didn't seem to remember or know, which seems to be the majority of my content creating career at this point. And to remind that this is actually a big effing deal. Like this is something we've been waiting almost 25 years to come back to. So
it's been a long time.
Been a very long time.
When I think about it. But Matt, it's your first time. You finally got a chance to play Fatal Fury.
How'd you like it?
This is your first time. You finally played it.
This is all right, I guess.
I told you it looked way better in person than the trailers.
So I said that in the start of my video preview. It's like, Max told me
I told
that, that YouTube does the game no favors by compressing it a little bit. No, it looks really great. Literally took out my glasses to make sure I was getting the full view of everything. But yeah, I really enjoyed it. Like, I honestly had no issues with anything that was in the demo build. I was just putting forward things I'd like to see, like either in like some sort of extreme battle mode, like Fatal Fury's own extreme battle mode has some silly things with the background, like barriers on either side or gimmicks or something that's a little, you know, a little bit more silly. Like, again, Street Fighter 6 battle mode is kind of what I was thinking of, because I know it's probably way too late to like add stage hazards or anything like that into the main game.
Maybe they're just not showing it yet or excluding it. They're definitely possible. This is like the first public playable outside of Evo Japan. So we still have like, I don't know, 6-8 months. It's coming out early 2025, we think. So
I'd still like to think that would have been shown in the first couple of trailers, though. But maybe they don't, because the game is already, as I found out, mechanically deep.
Bro.
Well,
Justin, they added stuff, dude.
I know, that's crazy. I was like, why did you add wild punish? Wild punish? Come on, boys.
So something that confused me, Max, you'll remember this, is that when I was going playing the game and then looking over footage and stuff, when wild punish happens, it's just kind of normal. It's just when something whiffs, you hit the characters and then they kind of stagger back.
You get more frames.
Stagger back a bit more. Yeah, you get more frames. But the thing that was also happening was the high-low crushes.
And that shit is
what
crazy.
Actually institutes the slowdown.
Yes.
But that also counts as a wild punish.
Yes.
So wild punish would appear on the system like pop-up saying like wild punish, but it doesn't say like high-low crush.
Yes.
I think it says counter. So I was like, what the fuck is wild punish now?
Yeah. Well, and wild punish is generic. It's for like everything, you know?
Generic.
And then there is a different kind of punish. And I was running through my footage. There's a big giant spin state punish. What happens when you punish with a special move? So if I punish with Terry's like first hit of his Rekka, they go like flying. Or if I punish with a shining knuckle, they go flying. Like if I did a specific, like, not counter hit, but like a punish, right? Like they're recovering from a DP. I do knuckle, boom, giant spin state crush counter thing. I was like, what the hell? So
yeah, they reuse that animation in T-Zox, like God, his clothesline thing.
Yeah.
Where like he does that final hit and the character spins around like, ugh, so they reuse that there. But yeah, like it took me a while to just be like acclimatized to everything. But like once not this Max, but SNK Max was like, hey, make sure to like be looking up how to do Rev Excels. Yeah. And I had to be like, what is Rev Excels again? Right. And that's when I was like, Rev Excel into Rev Excel. I'm like, oh my God. And I started doing that in like the last 10 minutes. But I was immensely enjoying my time playing it. I really liked Vox Reaper, and I didn't think I would. Because it's like, yeah, he has basically Grant's moveset, but is just more balanced than Grant was. Grant's a little overpowering.
Trying to be a normal character, yeah.
Exactly, which was smart. So I'm assuming Grant's not in the final game, which I'm fine with, in all honesty.
That would make sense.
And the other thing it took me a really stupid while to notice is that the little red markings on Vox Reaper's face, I thought they were just like, oh, that's a random thing. No, it's Grant's little horns that he has. Like he just put those on his face. So when he puts the other part of his mask on, it's more complete. And I'm like, yeah.
Cute.
That's cool.
Very cool.
Yeah.
The only thing...
Go ahead.
Yeah, I was going to say the one last thing I told the SNK guys is just like, I think some Hidden Gear super animations look some look great, others look a little off or like slightly unfinished, like Rock's. Rock is just in the air after he launches you, and then the camera cuts, and then he's just on the ground. And then when he does the geyser, you just see the geyser, but you don't see his enemy like getting hit or like, and it's just the flash of the geyser. And I was like, that just seems like slightly off to me. I don't know what it is. And then who was the other character? Yeah, Vox Reaper. When he does like his hitting gear level 3, he just walks towards you slowly for like 5 seconds, and all the momentum of the animation gets sucked out of it. And I was like, this character is all about like rushing you down. He should be like zipping forward when he does that rather than. And I was like, and that's just me like nitpicking. Like that's the only thing I felt that was like slightly off. But
yeah, and that's all cinematics direction.
It's all cinematics. So yeah, I just immensely enjoyed it. Like it lived up to the hype that I was kind of having to it. And you guys personally saying on previous episodes, like it was really fun. I really liked it. And it's just me just going, I'd like to play it too. So I'm glad I finally did.
Yeah, I think I'm trying to remember SPG stuff. There were so many things that SPG does that are crazy. I found out that it also makes your Rev Excel moves, your EX moves, cost less. So
I didn't know
when
that.
you're in SPG, you will get like a whole more cancel out of that shit if need be. We already know it recovers all of your rev gauge if you use it in SPG, your big SPG super. When you're in SPG, you also recover health. Just naturally, your life just starts coming back. So I'm like, that's cool. What was the other one? Oh, there is a mechanical difference for SPG, whether you put it in the middle, the front, or at the bottom. The bottom one does give you stat bonuses, so you do more damage, and it gives you better stuff at the end.
It's like X Factor, pretty much. Their version of it. If you
use it as the comeback mechanic, the last part of your life bar, you will get like bonuses. Is that what they said? Damage seemed like the obvious one.
Because the middle one says flexible, like flex, and then when you put at the end of the bar, it says final. I don't remember what it says for the start.
It's Excel at the start. And I asked them, so what do these mean? What do they do? And they're like, oh, it's just positioning. The only one that has a difference is the final one. If you put it at the bottom of the health bar in your last 30%, that's when you get bonuses. So I was like, shit, okay, that's crazy. And then, I think this was sort of a complaint that me and Justin had when we were first playing it. We're like, why would we do this high crush, low crush stuff? Because it's coming back from Gauro. They had similar moves in Gauro, which were like characters had like 6 Ps in some way. They just weren't that good, and they had like low crush things as well. So now they add them, and the catch windows are super small. But now you get like big cinematic slow-mo moments where I'm like, whoa, that's different. That's cool. So long story short, this game is trying to have its cake and eat it too mechanically. Like everything from Gauro is in here. Like JDs, I started getting like comfortable with them. I was just JDing shit in the air like crazy. And then I started canceling the air JD into specials and punishing people. I was like, that's cool. And then, they're also like, everybody loves max mode combos. Everybody loves that shit. So they just add max mode combos for the most part in the Rev Excel system. So I don't know. It's like, to me, it's like they're trying to do everything SNK games do that's fun. We're just going to stick it into this thing.
Yeah, it's because original Garo, like, even though it's like considered as like the SNK version of Third Strike and it's so pretty, it's a really hard game to play. Like combos were not easy to do in that game, and they're very limited. Now it's like so much more accessible in terms of like you can figure out how to do a combo super easily in City of the Wolves. I think the one thing that's going to take time for people to get used to is probably the hyper defense, red tough. Parry.
Yeah,
that one's pretty tough to do.
People even in Third Strike can't always consistently do red parry timing in from block to forward. And I was like revisiting it. I'm like, did I misremember it? Do you have to JD first and then the next hit you have to advance defense, meaning that you press back JD the first time and then forward? Apparently no. It's just on block.
No.
So anything with multiple hits, you go from back to forward, you get that JD. You can't attack after like a red parry because, JDs are kind of like blocking frames, it's just like you're just giving yourself extra wiggle room in some way, but you can cancel out of them. And I tried to mess around with that a little bit, just consistently of like, all right, so I need to do a special out of a JD. That shit is hard. It does not come out like, even the SNK guys were like, okay, so the trick is you do the motion first and then you JD and you press a button. I'm like, what? And they're like, yeah, that's how people did it in Gauro. I'm like, God damn. Like you have to like be psychic.
So that's like the pro way. But I done it before where I just JD and then do the motion real fast. That's the much harder way. But in general, like people are just like buffering the motion, tapping back or tapping forward the last frame, and it's a 2-frame window to get that guard cancel out.
It is not. This is not something that casual players are like, well, it's time to just defend this attack and then do a guard cancel out of it and punish the opponent. Like, it's not gonna happen, dude.
I had a comment on my video preview that said, how does this game feel defensively? I'm kind of sick of modern games not having that many defensive options versus like most games being all about aggressiveness, like heat and like drive gauge and stuff. Like, I was like, there's a few defensive things. I think it's the most dense mechanically defensive game like I can think of right now, but I also think the game is also aggressive. So yes. I don't know if you guys agree, but I just feel like there's enough on either side where you can be aggressive or defensive in this game and still do well.
Absolutely. So like the offense is powerful because you can, your Rev Excel combos that you do like one to the next, they don't have to hit. They can be done on block, dude. So, and when people are blocking in this game, when you take just rev damage from blocking, it is intense. Like a normal block string is going to lose 50% of your rev gauge if you block that. So you have to start using this game's faultless defense, which is their push block. You press R1 for it. And you have like a little shield that comes up. It's another thing. It's called like Rev Guard or something like that.
Rev Guard.
You have to do that because if you just eat block strings with like faint block strings and shit, they're going to burn you out. I'm sorry, they're going to
rev you up.
Overheat you.
There you go. They will overheat you like nothing. You have to do that stuff.
Speaking of which, I didn't get this question out. Can you get stunned in this game?
I found it. Yes, you can.
Where?
So it's weird. There's a bar at the top of the health bar. Right below it. It's blue. It never moves. You're like, what the fuck is this thing doing up here? I'm looking. I'm like, what does this thing do? When you are in overheat, it activates, and it is a guard crush bar. So the guard crush bar goes into effect, and everything that you take affects the guard crush bar at that point instead of your rev gauge, and then you just get guard stunned, and it's full free combo. It doesn't leave you in like a hyper like Street Fighter on the wall dizzy state, but it's very, again, another thing that's very similar to Street Fighter 6. Once you are like manipulated in this state and you've entered a cooldown / burnout where you don't have these things available, at that point can your character be susceptible to a defensive thing where you're just vulnerable, where it's like, crap, I'm gonna get stunned. Like, now that's guard crush in City of the Wolves.
Yeah, it seems so scary. I feel like being overheated is more scarier than being burnt out. Because when you're overheat, you can't just defend as well.
They took that away.
You actually lose. Yeah, you lose the ability to just defend and everything. So now you actually have no defensive mechanics.
And the nice part is that the game does have invincible reversals, and it says if they're invincible. So like Rox
I saw that.
Rox is Shoryu with light kick. Terry's is also Shoryu light kick. They just have invulnerability. So at least there's that. You don't need EXs to get people off of you like a Street Fighter 5 burnout situation, or 6, sorry.
So pretty much you're saying, Max, if you don't have a DP, you're screwed.
Dude, even level 1s don't have invincibility. Or level 2s. They don't. I think maybe SPG supers have invincibility, maybe. But
my level 2 lost. My level 2 lost to a jump in.
I beat several level 2s with meaties at the event. I was like, okay, all right, that's scary. Yeah. So anyway, this game is going to be even more heavily leaning into the push and pull of your opponent's meter, their rev gauge versus your rev gauge, and gauging whether or not, should I use this much here? If I don't use that much there, what should I do? The cool part, and I started really paying attention to how meter works, is that if you use a bunch of rev gauge in your combo, and the combo continues after when you're not using rev gauge, it brings it down. It starts going down per hit.
Right.
So if you add a super on top of it, you'll bring it down like 10-15%.
Yeah, supers. That's the thing I was surprised that you said, like, overheat is like, scarier. I was like, well, if you just do like regular level 1 supers, it seems to like go down really fast if you have like at least 2 bars left. But the other things that you guys mentioned, I was like, oh yeah, that I didn't realize you couldn't just defend. So
that was a change. You could before. Now it's gone.
Oh,
they took that away.
So think of it like this, Matt. Like when you're burnt out in Street Fighter, you can only be stunned in the corner.
That's true.
But in City of Wolves, your guard can be broken anywhere on the screen.
That's why one of the things I was like talking to the SNK guys about there is like in Real Bout 2 or Real Bout Special, and now I forget, there's barriers on either side of the screen, just like there's just walls, right? And if you get smashed into it like 2 or 3 times, they get like slightly destroyed, but there's no ring outs or anything. All that happens is that's the only time your characters can actually get dizzy. So they get smashed into this, and I was like, "That's a cool mechanic." Like, and it took like a bunch of hits, and you have to be in there, and that's the only time you get stunned. But like dizzy Street Fighter stun, not like stun like from the burnout thing. I just think that's kind of neat and like pays a bit of legacy to the Fatal Fury's past. But at the end of the day, I have to realize like this is a sequel to Garo and not a sequel to like Real Bout, special or whatever crazy stuff I want. Max, since you played the game at a different time than me and Justin, you should have seen Justin just going around, and I just hear his voice go, "Where's B Jenny at? Why ain't B Jenny here?
Dude, and they took away Justin's other character.
Here?" Hotaru, yeah.
Oh,
Hotaru,
bro, come on, man.
I love this build.
Oh, sad.
I love this build.
I mean, Mark. I had fun with Marco.
Yeah,
Marco was really
fun.
cool.
He is break the character. You could break so many things in combos with him.
He's so sick with him.
Mm-hmm. But they're like, Justin, she'll be around, okay? So I'm not sure if you guys got this asked anything or this conversation came up. I was like, why are they gone in this build? And they're just like, we can't keep adding more and more characters to every build, because then there'll be people that are not playing a bunch of characters. There'll be too many. So we have to keep like maybe Rock and Terry only, and then cycle out the rest of the cast.
Damn, does it feel good to be a basic bitch? Rock and Terry, I'm good on every build.
And they're not going to remove Preacher because they're trying to push the new character.
Always
That's probably Vox Reaper as well. And I was like, yeah, no, that makes sense. I get it if there's 12 characters. If you sat me down in this build and there's 12 characters, I'll be like, fuck, I'm not playing at least half of them. I barely had enough time to play as the 5 that they're in there. So it's because the game's so mechanically deep and characters can do cool shit.
So I got a question for Justin based on the build you played, because I know you guys didn't play it a ton, and I sat there like every fucking day. Like there was open station, I just went in there and played, and people would cancel their appointments. I'm like, I'll take that. So I got to mess around with it a lot. Is there any mechanically things that in the time that you guys played that seems like a little off or anything like that? Is there anything in the game that you actually want changed?
Well, the one thing I do like is run throw. I love run throw. It feels good. I think run throw feels really freaking good. I don't know. I think if something I needs to be changed, or maybe I'm just not aware of it yet, is probably the ability to kind of like when you're in a rev guard and you could cancel out of it with like back or hop jump or whatever. It just seems like I wouldn't use it that much. That's kind of how I feel. It's just weird. It's a weird thing where I get it. It's like kind of you're holding focus and you're like Street Fighter for focus attack, you like dash out of it, but it just doesn't seem like
that one. I didn't get to mess around with too much, because apparently you can from rev guard do short hops or some shit.
But it's not real short hop. It's like mid hops. It's not like a King of Fighters short hop. I think they're like mid hops.
This game does not have like hyper hops or anything like that. Like down back up forward down back, like that kind of stuff. It doesn't have them.
This might be stupid. Let me know if this is stupid. Is that when you're in SPG mode, I wasn't using the rev blow like the top attacks.
And you should.
I just was totally forgetting about them. So I was thinking, would it make any mechanical sense that you could do them at any time, but when you're in SPG, they're just way more effective? And that will remind you to use them like more when you're in SPG if you have access to like a worse version outside of SPG.
Another change from the previous build to, I think, incentivize that. And like, the game doesn't do a great job. SPG's up there. You obviously should be utilizing that stuff, but you just don't sometimes. And it's like, crap, I had SPG Super. Why wouldn't I have used it? I'm an idiot. Right. Is that they incentivized SPG attacks even more. In the previous build, I think the SPG like big drive impact armor thing, their top attack, was 25%. And in this one, it's only 15. So it's really like they want you to use it. They're safe. Like, I think they can be high crushed. So there is things you can do about them, but still it's like Yeah, they're really trying to incentivize using SPG attacks. I didn't even realize that you can tack them on. I think with every character upon reviewing the footage, I thought it was just Marco, because Marco got all these unique like chop animations. If you do EX moves, he can add SPG attacks. And it's like, oh, cool. But apparently I think everybody can do that. I think
it's kind of like Melty Blood. You know how when you end the air combo into a throw?
No, I don't know that.
It's like that.
Well, it's like
I take your word for it,
universal shit, you know, where you can now every character can add like a little SPG attack on top of it, if not extend combos with their SPG gauge. So
bro, yeah, I just thought about what I don't like actually when it comes to the mechanics, where it's just like, oh, it's kind of weird that you know how there's feints, right? There's 3 type of feints. I feel like two out of 3 are not useful, because you only go for the one that's gonna be the faster one, where you can do a combo afterwards.
Yeah.
Feel like the slower ones, I'm like, what are you supposed to use these two for?
I was thinking the same thing, where it's obviously like the down one was the quickest one. So it's like, oh, this lets me do heavy, cancel heavy, you know, massive damage, right?
Yeah.
So when I was playing with Terry in neutral, and just like playing against some people that know what they're doing, and we were just like playing some full screen neutral KOF style, I started doing.
Oh yeah.
And when it started like filling their head of just like, they get kind of scared and they're like, oh shit, he's gonna go for a thing, and then you don't go for a thing and it costs nothing. So I think it's like, it's kind of goofy and fun just to add data to their brain waves of like, hey, this could happen. A thing I didn't also realize, and this could be a legacy thing, I have more mechanics for you, Matthew.
Like, I need more.
When you feint cancel out of some special attacks, you can change their animations. So Terry, for example, does like a short is light knuckle goes kind of far, and his heavy knuckle goes full screen. I can cancel that animation. I can literally end it halfway, or end the heavy one halfway with the feint. So I could.
With the break.
No, with the feint button. Without break.
Feint button.
Yeah, because break is good for Terry and Rock on their DPs. You do the feint attack, and it cuts the animation of their shining knuckles in half. So I would shining knuckle and stop right in front of them and grab them. And it was like, holy shit, I didn't know that. Is this a thing in Gauro? And I'm like,
shiny knuckle rock super, or do you mean burn knuckle Terry?
Burn knuckle, sorry. Fireball back punch.
Okay. Yeah, just a special.
Yeah, just
that's
specials.
Still really good.
And I don't think you could do it on the majority of specials, but it seemed like some characters had specials that you could feint out of and like end their animation early. So I was like,
no, it'd be stupid to feint a fucking super, because just the bar, your bar goes away. You don't get anything. Like, well, that's funny.
So yeah, there's just more crazy shit that you can just like do. Like, and that's the thing. I just was like cycling through all these things in my head, not like relying on the one thing that works, and just like, I'm just going to try something different every single round. And there's just so much stuff.
My casual brain also, I'm begging SNK here to be like, unlike pretty much all your other 3D fighting games, please have alternate costumes in this one. Like, I just want classic Terry. If Mai shows up in the game, have her have a new costume. I just like Street Fighter 6 just have a nostalgia costume, like locked in the game. If it has to be a DLC, and I guess it has to be, but obviously, like, you know, if it can just be in the game, because like, I want those costumes, and you haven't had a game that offers that. Like what, KOF 15 has like 5 alternative costumes for like 5 random characters.
Yeah.
And that's it.
Yeah.
Like, if you're rolling out the red carpet for this game, like, if you make good costumes, like, people will want to unlock them.
Yeah.
Give people reasons to. Sorry, Justin?
Or buy them.
Or if the game is, if there's enough goodwill going into the game, if it's got a ton of shit, like, and I don't know about you guys, but it's like, what can SNK possibly do for a story mode? Not a whole lot, obviously. It doesn't have the, you know, manpower of NRS or even Capcom and World Tour mode, but just something basic where it's like, there's a map of Southtown, and you go to a little district, and there's like an interface, and you talk to a few characters, and you find how to defeat the boss of that area, which is one of the playable characters. Something where you investigate Southtown. I don't know.
They might have that, just because like in that trailer that they showed, like the announcement trailer, they had Marco do you know, do the bonus game,
So that's
like Art of Fighting.
So that could either be like just a bonus game in the middle of the arcade ladder, or it could be it could be something that's in the story mode somewhere. Like, oh, Marco, you have to like beat this score, and then you talk to this character. When I say talk, I just mean like the little boxes, like portraits, just talking. Because KLF 13. Its story mode had a ton of story. Like, it was all just in text, but it was the characters talking to each other. And it was pretty well-written dialogue. So just, like, something like that. I just want to learn more about the characters, learn more about, like, the new characters and stuff. Like, again, it doesn't need to be an NRS story mode or a Tekken 8 story mode, but, like, it's got to give something. And it has to have, like, a decent unlockable. Like, if I beat it with I get Mai's costume. I beat it with Terry, you know, et cetera, et cetera. So it's just, like... This is when I get really excited for a game where my mind starts going buck wild about the stuff I want to see because the core game is so good. I want more to support that, you know? So.
The core game is good, and it's one of the better looking fighting games, just period. You know, in motion, you really get to see it, and they tone down a lot of the motion blur. You get to see even more now, and it still looks really smooth. I think the only gripes I had, like, gameplay mechanically... one is for casual players, and I saw nobody using the game's like simple controls or their modern mode. Not a single person.
Me neither. I didn't use them,
which is bad because that I saw many people playing the game that should be using it, that were just like effectively just hitting buttons and jumping around and
just mashing
and like barely doing even specials. And I'm like, this is the audience. That nothing against them, but this is what this is made for, and nobody's using it. So people either didn't know how to find it, and then I learned later that even if you get there and you do like some generic combo, right, that it has built or caked into it, it won't even use rev gauge or super. So that's not good, man. Like Street Fighter 6 and their modern control like combos that they have do automatically use meter and gauge if you have it. So that you at least get to see flashy stuff, like your character not doing an optimal thing, but doing something flashy, right? You do a generic combo in Street Fighter 6. I think that 1000%. There's so many cool mechanics and things in this game that needs to happen. Like, it should be, the auto system should, no kidding, be using your SPG gauge and shit when you are in that mode. And here's the crazy part. Yeah, supers are easy inputs now. They're like forward triangle, forward CD or something like that, back CD. They're really easy. However, the SPG super, the hidden secret super, is still, even on modern controls, double fireball.
That's so random. Why?
Oh, that's weird.
And I'm like, dude, this doesn't, no. Make this as easy as possible for them. Circumvent the game in some way. Like, make the game like do less damage, like Street Fighter does. You have to mitigate some of that ability because it can't be good, right? It can't be like the way you play. But still, like, no. We can't rely on players on this fucking controller. I could barely do double fireball inputs, man. Like, and this is the main way people are playing. I can barely do them. So I genuinely disagree.
I think since it seems like such a big oversight that I think it's like they just changed the motion from the complicated one it was at Evo in Japan to the much easier one now. So I think it's just something they just haven't addressed. And that makes the most sense.
And
to
I
me.
think this is the time to make these like things where it's like, okay, I would love this game to be approached from a casual perspective, and it would be awesome, similar to Street Fighter, where if they start with this modern mode and they get a taste of the game and they like it, and then they evolve and eventually adopt the normal style, which gives them more options, gives them access to more damage, like that kind of stuff. You want to get better at the game, right? That's the greatest evolution of Street Fighter 6, is that most people go through that, where it's like, oh yeah. I'm actually going to not play modern mode anymore. I'm going to play the normal one.
And everything's falling into place like elsewhere. It's like, look at how cool these characters look.
Exactly.
Look how hot B Jenny is. Look how hot Terry is. Look at how gorgeous the game looks like. So that's all there. So it's like all the other stuff is like, that just needs to fall into place.
People already have really good impressions of the game, like a lot that we're reading. But imagine if their impressions were also baked in with the fact that they did see the cool shit mechanically that you can do. If you could actually just get a little bit of taste of that every once in a while. And right now they're not, and it already is reviewing really well. So I'm saying it could be even better. Like, like if they could do some cool SPG super, I feel like a god, you know, and it just sort of helps you out with that every once in a while. I think outside of that, the last thing I'll mention is throws. The throw tech window is mega generous. like once you go up against somebody that knows how to tech throws, we were not able to get a throw off. Like I couldn't get a throw off. They couldn't get a throw off on me. We went like 30 games and maybe there was 2 throws. It was crazy, dude. So I think that it's like the game is not strike throw currently, just because throws are kind of really good. I'm sorry, throws are kind of like have a really big generous window to break. And I don't know. I think it would maybe just be better if it was a little strike throw-ish, where it's like, yeah, you want to like whiff the throw and then wild punish their ass, but you know, maybe they don't want it to be too much like Street Fighter 5, Street Fighter 6.
It can change just because this is also SNK's first time doing
throw whiffs.
Command input.
That's true.
They've never had throw whiffs before.
Literally their first time. So maybe this is like something in the process where maybe the next build, let's say they have a new build like Evo or something, like the throw windows are less lenient. So it could be a thing.
I think it would be kind of neat if this game had shimmies. You know, I think that would be sort of cool. Right now, there's like
it would be so
it's
cool.
whiff punishing. That's all over the place, right? But still, it would be neat if like baiting the throw existed, because throws are
wild punish.
Yeah, exactly. And throws are so shallow. You have to be like in them to throw them in the game currently. So we'll see. That's a long way from being out.
Also, Max, one thing is that I was talking to Justin about this, but I was talking to the SNK USA employee Gibby, the community guy. He's like, what characters would you like to see? Like just ones you personally like to see. I'm like, like this character. And then he just busts out the SNK knowledge. He goes, I would like Sendo. And I go, and he goes, the one girl from Fatal Fury Wild Ambition. Like that one character, one of the 2 characters that were added in just that version of the game. I would like Sendo. I was like, holy shit, that's a call. Yeah. I love it. I love where your head's at. But I never expected anyone. He's like, I'm the SNK guy.
Gibby's the ultimate SNK guy.
Yeah,
he very much.
You found it. Sounds like you found like it's like the Step Brothers means. Did we just become best friends?
Did you get his number?
Yeah, I followed him on Twitter. He followed me back. So like he had some really good calls. It's like I'd love to see like Fatal Fury 3 characters like Franco Bash or Bob Wilson. Like those are characters that we haven't seen in a long time. And I was like, no, for sure. But we'll see. I'm going to be excited with every single announcement that comes out for this.
Heavily encourage, if you're going to Evo, to give it a shot. There's probably a very good chance the game will be at Evo because it was at Evo Japan, and hopefully it'll be an updated build. It would be amazing if it was the B Jenny build at Evo.
Please,
because this one we got Marco in this one, which was different than before. So we'll see. Game's great. I can't wait for more, and it's just going to get better. Oh, it also looked better. Just to throw that out, it looked way better than it did at the build we played. Yeah, there was some new like full screen post processing happening on every stage that makes it look way better. So it's just great. In other news, let's sort of go through a few of these that are worth talking about. So, Hunter x Hunter Nen Impact. There was a new character. There was a trailer. This was for the little girl that turns into Biscuit, right? Biscuit, whatever you like. And then I watched this and I was like, damn. I was watching this trailer. I'm like, this little girl Biscuit is my favorite shit, chat. Did you know I'm a huge Hunter x Hunter fan? I love Biscuit. And then she turned into like a 9-foot tall mega buff chick, and I was like, holy dumb hell. What is happening? So I kind of liked her even more, is what I'm trying to say. I was like, this is sort of crazy. Go ahead.
I was going to say the crazy bit for me is like now ArcSys is publishing this game.
Yes,
out of nowhere.
That was arguably the bigger news, in my personal opinion, is that the game having a publisher outside of like Asian territories might have been in the air. So Arc System Works, I believe US, is publishing the game over here. So cool. I don't know if it's going to have a physical release. We'll see if it does or it doesn't, or how much it's eventually going to cost.
I'm not sure. I'm not sure, but I know at Anime Expo it's the first playable build in America that they'll have,
and there might be some stuff that's at
pretty
Evo
cool
as well. There's probably a pretty good chance because they were also at Evo Japan. That's where you played it, Justin, right?
Yeah, I went to the office to play it as well too. So I feel like they have to be at Evo at this point. Like if you are showing off a fighting game at Evo Japan, you might as well be in Vegas as well.
That's why I'm throwing this out. I just figure that's going to be the same thing. So that's great. Another 3v3 tag team fighting game, more characters being added, and they're going to have some comeuppance from Arc System Works when it releases in the US. So that's all good news. Other ones that I actually asked Guile Winquote if I like, can I watch this on stream and like make a video of like my reaction to it, which is the Third Strike Oddity video, where he talks about and sort of gushes about like weird stuff in Third Strike, which yes, it is. A lot of people think that it's the bastion of balance. No, it is not.
Third Strike is broken, and if you're going to say that, he has to make sure, just like I think all of us know now, it's like at the very start of your video, say, I love Third Strike. It's a godlike game, but here's some funny things. Like, you have to have that disclaimer at the start now before people get angry.
Absolutely. So that's it's
such a good video.
I need to watch it. I haven't seen it myself, but I'm looking forward to it.
Oh, you still haven't seen it yet? No. Oh, it's so good.
It's so good.
I can't wait.
I actually learned some stuff watching this video too.
I forget what it was, but there's one or two things where I was like, "What? I didn't even know that."
It has like the goofy, like the obvious stuff, like Q can't be thrown when he's like crouching or something like that.
Yeah, it has.
They have all that type of stuff in terms of just random mechanics, random characters that. Like, like this works in this way, like Shin Shoryuken or against Dudley in the corner, stuff like that.
Yeah, you can combo it off the ground. Like it's an OTG or some shit, right?
Yeah. Like, you throw super.
Yeah.
So pretty cool. But they have all that stuff, which is really nice.
And the video's doing really super well on his channel. Like, I think it's like doubled the amount of views like that he has subscribers right now. So it's like, this is a great series that because he did a Super Turbo one, I think, a little while ago.
He did Super Turbo's Broken as well, too. Yeah.
Like, I'd want him to be like Tattoo Assassins is broken, and then just like.
I think the popularity of it is due to the Third Strike being, the game it is. So, I might have some fault in that where I just hyped that shit up for 10 plus years, and now everybody.
Don't you have a series? Don't you have a Third Strike series that's on episode like 110 or something?
Not definitely not 170. Definitely not. Okay. It's the longest running series on my channel. Yada yada yada.
There you go.
Third Strike is the best fighting game ever, so I'm not complaining. Carnage cut content. This one I haven't seen as well. Matt, what's this one about?
This one I did watch, and I was like, "What? There's no cut content in Third Strike or Street Fighter 3 in general." Like, yes, there is. Makoto was finished during Second Impact's development. They just didn't have time to implement her.
Oh, okay.
So she has a bunch of unused voice lines. Ken in Third Strike has a bunch of unused voice lines that were then used in Marvel vs. Capcom 1 or 2, I believe. They're just like him speaking in Japanese, but they're like, well, just use that over here. Huh. There is alternate character art on New Generation. So I always know the one of Ryu where he has one fist up and it's drawn like Akiman. And this one, it's completely different. And I was like, that breaks my brain to see it. There's an alternative HUD for Second Impact. That was like, that looks really good. Like in between Second Impact and Third Strike, there's unused, Makoto voice lines. There's a bunch of interesting stuff. None of it's like there's no hidden character that we didn't know about. But like some characters were in development and like planned to be in Second Impact. Screw it. We don't have enough time. Put them in, like, we'll make another version. So a bunch of stuff I didn't know. It was a really interesting video because it's like Third Strike again. We assume we know everything about it by now. I'm like, nope, there's still lots of other stuff. Was it like Third Strike's like anniversary recently, or I think I read something about that. Like it might be like it came out in June.
25th anniversary
thing.
It was the 25th anniversary of Third Strike. Not that long ago. I think it was the Japanese release of Third Strike.
Fair enough. So yeah, really sick video. We'll have a link in the comments below so people can check it out.
And I don't know if anybody else checked out Homelander. Did you guys get a chance to play him?
It was funny because I saw Matt. We went to go get tacos with Kenny, and I'm like, "Hey, Matt, they broke Mortal Kombat 1 again?" And he's like, "What? No way!" It's like, "Yeah, Homelander just broke the game, and it's he's might as well be banned, to be honest."
And I think as of the time of this recording, like he has been fixed. There's a server maintenance going down.
No, I think it might be soon.
I just saw a video like an hour ago of someone getting hit by the Homelander like Block Infinite, and they're like, how do I stop this? And they're like,
you don't.
So
that's the neat thing.
So the solution is you take the hit. Yeah, from what I understand, it's like I was doing it to people online and they just stopped blocking. and they're like, I'm just gonna take the goddamn kick, and then you can turn the kick into an actual combo if you're good enough. So yeah. It's a thing that exists, that's for sure. Homelander is a lot of fun. Probably some of the most fun combos in MK1, I would say.
Oh, really?
With some of the worst, like, normals. Like, his close range 1s and 2s and forward 2s and all that kind of stuff. Oh, my God. Your whiff. Everybody's was just, like blindfold fighting in the first day because his normals are so weird. And then his laser on the ground, he has some really good eye laser ground normals. So that's what I was mostly using to convert my damage, like a really far range, like back 4, I think it was, or forward 4. Anyway, that stuff's fun. And his flight cancel shit is amazing. It's super fun. The only gripe I have is that on PlayStation 5 controllers, I feel like I'm speedrunning Arthritis. It's like, and the same thing happened with Ermac. Dude, it's like you have to do these back-forward cancels like so fast in between this stuff. So I'm like, brr, 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 like really quick. I'm like, bro, my ass is speedrunning Arthritis. Like, this shit is fucking tough. So Homelander's like another one of those where I'm like, my combos are 30 hits and I'm doing approximately
no damage.
31% damage.
That's weird.
It is what, there's optimization. There's other cameos you can make to make it better, but he's definitely enjoyable. I think he's worth like checking out. But I just don't think Homelander's a character that I'm going to fall in love personally. It does leave me excited for Takeda because he's next. He's my boy. Yeah. And it's like, this is the character I've literally been waiting over, like, ever since we saw MK14.
And they purposely did this to you.
I guess so.
To put him last.
I guess so.
This is a slight.
What if he comes out and then when you launch him, the game crashes?
I will wait for the patch. I just hope he's fun, you know, because my relationship with MK11 was that, I finally got a character I've wanted in Mortal Kombat forever. It's Spawn. I don't want to play anymore. Yeah. he just wasn't that fun, in my opinion. And I just hope Takeda's fun. I just hope he has like things and stuff and cool shit to do and good normals, you know? That's about it. So,
I mean, they're basing it, but like he's already existed, unlike Spawn, which didn't exist before.
It's true.
So I'd like to think they'd, base it off like how funny he was in MKX. But
yeah, it feels like a lot of people are excited for him too, which is weird. Maybe they're just saying to me they're excited because he's obviously my main in MKX. So I'm curious how he's going to be received. Because being the last character, it's sort of like, that's a weird character.
It's like an honor.
It's a weird character to end on. You know, you would end on Homelander. Yeah. You would end on Peacemaker.
No, I'd say they'd end on a Mortal Kombat character. More MK players would be excited about that.
I dig it.
How about Mai or Terry?
Yes, throw them in there. Why not? Why is Terry not in everything? Terry might show up in the new Guilty Gear Strive anime that was just announced. He could. They could put him in the story. He could just show up. He could be the original Gear. They could do that.
The original blonde character.
The original. And so this happened at some anime expo thing of some kind. And they announced...
This was announced yesterday at 8 p.m.
Yes.
And more details.
They just randomly announced
more details are going to be at the Anime Expo.
That's what it is. Okay.
The cool thing is Daisuke is the character designer of this, so the OC that's not the OC, but like new character that's presented in the main artwork is like, that's a Daisuke character design. So already people are like, well, this character is going to be in Strive Season 4. And I'm like, yeah, that makes the most sense. That's actually a really cool idea. Have your show, your anime, your movie, whatever it is, and actually, because Mortal Kombat always kind of missed the boat. They're like, well, the Mortal Kombat 2021 movie is in stores or, whatever, viewable. No skins from that. No, Scorpion skins, Cole. I guess people don't want Cole. Fine, fair enough. But none of those movie skins. But we'll give you the old movie ones from 1995. But that's currently here. So, cross-promoting the anime in the game with characters from the anime possibly in the game.
Yeah.
That's a good marketing thing. I think that's smart.
And we've seen a market of, games that have a tied in anime or show or something, elevating that game in a way that's insane. Cyberpunk did that with their anime, and Fallout just had that with their show. A ton more people were playing Fallout. So, that could happen. It seems like there's a spot where if this is good and people dig it, people want to check out Guilty Gear Strive. It'd be crazy if they're like, damn, Where is Guilty Gear Accent Core Plus R? They play the old one or something like that.
I mean, it has rollback.
It does have rollback. It does. Other official news. I say official. DNF Duel just got another patch. I reviewed it a little bit last night, and
I don't know about this.
Some changes per characters. Like, it looked like overall there's like some balance compendium changes on everybody. It dropped on Switch a little early.
Okay.
And from everything that I can gather, and I was using my chat as a consultant of like, I kind of stopped playing this game when they nerfed Troubleshooter into the ground. they cut the feet off this dude. That hasn't really changed too much because of just the way the meter usage got shifted around. So you do see some changes. Like, some characters did go through they could just do new things. You know, Kunoichi can do like new projectile stuff, the combo into projectile stuff. It's neat. So DNF Duel is still going. Like, it's still
going.
Yeah. Still going. Nen Master's like about to come out.
It's weird. Yeah.
Everyone's excited for her, especially Max.
Yeah.
You know, Max, you are the DNF Duel guy and the Mortal Kombat guy.
I fucking guess so, dude.
For this shit, while we're talking,
Justin and I are playing this shit at all.
I think I was the only one that I definitely got to like the highest rank in DNF Duel and ranked as well. And, you know, I probably put the most time into it, you know. Justin knows the life of a content creator. It's like, well, I now get to play a game for approximately 10 hours and that's it. So that's all you get. And I kind of stuck with DNF Duel for a few months. I really liked it. And then that new patch came out like a year and a half ago, and I was like, ooh, this stings, bro. Ooh, like my character got fucking destroyed. And I was like, he's no longer like Hunter Predator, which is what he was before. They really went to town on his ass. So anyway, that happened. The last thing that I'll ask you guys, if you have any questions for, is I did a direct. I did an MVCI and beyond direct on all of the efforts and the stuff that we've put into the game so far that we want to announce. So do you guys have any questions? Because I've talked about this shit enough. I had 2 interviews at SGF about this fake game. And I was like, you guys realize this isn't fake this is a mod, right? You realize that this is not something you could buy. And they're like, oh yeah, you know, but what are you doing? And I was like, okay. So if you have any questions, let me know.
How did the 2v2 feel?
I was going to say.
When you were playing it.
Like it. Okay, so 2v2, which one? Do we mean 2xKO tag 2v2? Or no, 2v2 on screen all the time 2v2?
Yeah,
that's the one I mean.
On screen.
Right. So
tag fever, cross fever?
It's like it was supposed to be there the whole time. I don't get it. We went back and we looked at other Capcom games. Scramble mode in Street Fighter Cross Tekken follows a similar logic. And Street Fighter 3 EX3. Yes, EX3 has some goofy shit too. We went to look at Cross Tekken to see how they handle. Okay, so which character do you look at? Because obviously you're going to get fucked up and you're never going to fully control the situation. That's just a natural order of things. Like, somebody's going to jump way up in the air and it's like, bro, I can't see shit. Like, I'm getting my ass mixed out here and I can't even see my character. Like, that's something that's just unavoidable. And it was also unavoidable situations in like Street Fighter Cross Tekken. And it was like, okay, but it still worked there. So we use that as like a basis from Soulstone, and Soulstone obviously let 2 characters come out, and we had Nice, who's a modder, and this was the same person that made Clone Engine for Marvel 3, also the same person that collected my $5,000 bounty over a year ago when we got new slots added, and they reverse engineered that into the old engine of Marvel 3. Same person. So we got them on board, and I'm like, you know what? This game was going to have a 2v2 mode, but can we do Cross Fever? That was one of the first things I wanted, like actual big gameplay changes. Like, if we can do this, can we make this a mode? And yeah, it took like 3 weeks of figuring it out and a lot of testing. We did a lot of parsec testing. It's fun as shit. It's crazy, dude. It is legit the most like endorphin kind of like, you know, oh, my brain is gonna spike me with good, happy, crazy feelings. And it kind of gives you definitely does that shit in the same way that if you guys ever played Cross Fever in MVC 1 on Dreamcast, it's the same shit where it's like, yeah, you know, on that version of Dreamcast, you used to get all 4 characters on the screen at one time. The nutty part is that it absolutely changes the dynamic of the Soulstone system. Or I'm sorry, of the Infinity Stone system. Where Soulstone's good, you can resurrect your partner blue shit. I'm sorry, Space Stone will box one person. It'll box the main character, so the secondary character has to like protect them and shit. What's it called? Not Soul Stone. Well, I always forget the name of the goddamn Yellowstone. Mind Stone is actually good because you get a lot of meter to work with. So it completely changes the dynamic of the game. And there's a lot of like crazy off the cuff, like figure this shit out. Even players that are good at MVCI, when I see them play it, sort of like devolve back to like the competitive side sort of goes away. And it's just, I'm gonna fuck you up, like sort of thing. So it's fun. There will be. We definitely want to take it to events and shit like that because getting 4 players, it's got a weird way to hook it up right now. We got to hook it up into the engine, and get like a mode and controller IDs and all that shit. But when it is hooked up and you have 4 controllers all at the same time, like and it's not Smash free for all. It's not that. It is 2 versus 2. So there's teams. You're just working with each other. The whole goal is to pincer the other team. Like that's like a big part. Yeah. But the coolest shit is that MVCI has solutions for these problems, dude. If you sit there and you're like, oh, I'm just going to have Zero chuck, Shapoket, like from full screen over and over again, his green shit, you can reflect those. Yeah. In this game, you can with the push bounce block, back. Right? Yeah. So you can that's an MVCI thing. If you reflect within 5 frames, the projectile goes back towards the opponent. So the systems like covered each other. It just fucking worked. We didn't even really have to debug a whole bunch of stuff. It was like tech things that we had to debug.
That's awesome when that happens.
So it was like, hell yeah, dude, this is amazing.
And I looked at the VOD of it. When you have all 4 characters on the screen, there's like this tenseness in the room where everyone's like, okay. There's like a jump, and then they're like someone throws out a normal, then supers just start happening. Oh, like everyone going nuts.
Every fucking time. It's just all hell has broken loose. There's like a mutual respect for a while of like cover our space, keep covering projectiles. I'll do this shit from up here. Then all of a sudden somebody loses patience and goes in, and it's like, what the fuck are you doing over here? Get this motherfucker! like it's so funny, dude.
It's almost as if Capcom should do, I don't know, a new versus fighter someday in the future. I don't
Stuff
know.
Like this.
Seems like people like
this.
it.
This echoes from a sentiment that I've had since I'm like the director on this project for the most part and trying to get some cohesion to the thing. This is the thing that I love. I love dramatic battle stuff, right? I think these stuff doesn't need to be like a tournament standard mode by any means, but I just think this shit is super fun.
Mystery tournament at the very least.
Sure.
Mystery tournament, buddy battle. Also, it should always be called buddy battle. That's buddy
battle.
Real name.